All right, next up in my prerequisite series is a microbiology lecture and lab. So at Miami-Dade College, the microbiology lecture is required for the associate's degree program, and the lab is required for the RN to BSN bridge. My recommendation, take the classes at the same time. It's a 3 credit lecture and a 2 credit lab. I know we're used to 1 credit labs, but this is a 2 credit lab, and it is a lot of work, and it definitely is 2 credits worth of work. Okay, so lecture and lab. This class was difficult for me in the sense that now I'm in my 3rd trimester of pregnancy. I am exhausted, but more than exhausted. I'm not ridiculously exhausted, but I'm tired of being pregnant at this point. I emailed my professors in the beginning of the semester, let them know I was pregnant, and asked for mercy. I said, listen, I'm probably going to give birth before the semester is out. And if that happens, please, I'm just asking, to work with me. And they were, of course, they were willing to work with me. So that's tip number 1. No matter your life situation, let your professors know up front that you got a situation and you're going to need them to work with you. They will totally respect that. They will totally help you. It just so happens I gave birth on the day, not birth, I went into labor the day of my microbiology lab midterm. Because, labor and birth is, so quick, I couldn't email my professor that day. I couldn't even email her the next day or the next day after that. I think I emailed her, my midterm was supposed to be on a Tuesday, and I emailed her on Friday letting her know, look, I gave birth. And can we reschedule this for sometime next week, because I don't even have access to a laptop. I couldn't even take this test right now if I wanted to. So she did reschedule it for the next Tuesday. I got a C on that midterm. I ended up with a B in the lab class, and I got an A in the lecture. Now, how can you get an A in the lecture? How can you get an A in the lab? One is you got to pay attention from day 1. Oh my God, the concepts of microbiology are intense. And the first thing I'm going to tell you is that there are a lot of different tests. Microbiology is all about tests. And the fun thing I will tell you is that this class will make you feel like a mad scientist. It is awesome. At Miami-Dade, they make us do this unknown project. I'm sure, every microbiology must have an unknown project, but that project makes you feel like a super scientist. It is so fun. Out of all the science classes I took, this was my favorite because, I literally felt like a mad scientist. So for the lecture is boring. Unless you have I don't know, maybe you could have a professor that can make it interesting for you, but this professor, he's super cool, knew the material to a T, but he liked to babble and he talked a lot. So one thing he did is that after he was done with lecture, 5 minutes later, you had to log into the course website and take a quiz. That was 10 questions. I missed 3 of those quizzes because of extenuating circumstances, and I still got an A in the class. I passed every single test. There was also a lot of homework. I got hundreds on almost all the homework. I got 100 on one of the tests. I got 90s. There were 4 tests. I got 100 on the last test. I got 90s on the 2 tests in the middle, and I got a high B, an 89 or something on the first test. But the reason I passed that class is because I paid attention. I was really in tune. I actually did buy the book this time, and I did peruse it. I studied mainly off the PowerPoints. And then the lab was actually the real work. Heavy studying for the lab. There were so many tests we had to know. You had to know incubation times. You had to know reagents. You had to know the results of the test. How did you interpret the results of the test? Whether it was what makes it a positive, what makes it a negative. Very heavy, intense with the testing. But the testing is what makes you feel like a mad scientist. So just stay in tune with it, because again, this is COVID adjusted. Even our labs were online, but they have this way of like you doing these electronic labs, and you're literally like picking up the lab code, and you're getting stuff into the test tubes, and like you can contaminate your like sample if you make a mistake. So I mean, it's the real deal, but it's a ton more work online. So I recommend, if you can take this class in person, which I really thought mine was going to be in person because it was, 2021, take it in person if you can. It'll be so much easier, and you'll get so much more out of the course, specifically the lab. You'll get so much more out of it. And I have to make this comment. Like, my professor was such black girl magic. She was like a young lady. She had her doctor's degree. She had a PhD. I just thought she was awesome. And I intend to email her, but I want to wait till I'm like far removed from that science class, because I don't want it to look like I'm trying to like influence her or anything, like with my grade or anything. So yeah, I'm definitely going to email her and tell her how I thought she was black girl magic. But if you can, I guess that's my only tip for microbiology, or my second tip. The first is pay attention from day one. You will get lost. Every concept builds on the other. And then 2 is like, please try and take this class in person. I know people that are like super online and they love online. I am one of those people who love online, but had I had the opportunity to take it in person, I would have definitely preferred to go that route. So that's microbiology in a nutshell. I do want to direct you to my website, Nursing Journey by TamaraB.weebly.com, because I did upload syllabi. I uploaded all of the PowerPoints from that class, from both the lecture and the lab. So there's a lot of information on there. Next video is going to be on statistics.